This is Citroen's mid-size SUV, the Creta rival, the Aircross X. It has been upgraded from the C3 Aircross. Now what all has changed? Let's take a look. Now on the outside, not big in terms of changes. What you notice first is this new paint shade. It's a deep dark green. There's also a new black and a red being added to the catalog, so that's a nice touch. And overall the shades are not really flashy, nice and subtle, and add to the premiumness. Then if you look closely here, what you'll see is the front camera. That is part of the 360-degree camera, which is a mandatory accessory. It costs 25,000 rupees and it is a dealer fitment option. If you don't choose to opt for this, you don't get the rear view camera, so it becomes something that you have to get. Let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And then lower down you also have the fog lamp that now gets the LED treatment. Earlier it was the LED headlamps and the LED DRLs, but now the fogs are also LEDs. Now over to the side, the only thing that you'll notice if you're a keen observer is that you have a bit of a chrome strip here on the door, and that is about it. The silhouette is nice and boxy, typical SUV look. At the rear you get the same Aircross bits as earlier, a integrated spoiler, a rear wiper washer, but now as you can see the badging is slightly different. It's not the C3 Aircross anymore, but it's just the Aircross X. Now the major changes are on the inside, but before we get in, one small change is also the new key. Now this is a keyless entry go. The last Aircross that got an update saw a pop-up key, but this is completely passive, which means you can have it in your pocket, just walk at the car and it will unlock itself. What it will also do is lock itself once you go away from the car. Now, as soon as you step inside this car, you realize that Citroen has gone a long way into making the Aircross a lot more premium compared to what it was earlier. And that means they've used a whole lot of soft touch materials. Now, the first thing you notice is the leatherette upholstery for the front seats. It's nice and dark tan. You've got a good amount of exposed stitching as well, and the seats are nice and perforated. You've got that same treatment on the door pads right here, nice soft materials, and on the dashboard as well. You've got a good amount of double stitching that looks nice and high-end, so that is always a nice touch. And even the plastics, the top half of the dash is plastic, yes, but it doesn't feel cheap or low-rent, and that is because it has some designs on it, some patterns. You've got a bit of a gold theme going on as well, which is nice and new age, and it really looks classy, so that is a very good touch. And the seats, nice and comfortable. They get ventilation for the front two seats, and it is very, very effective because I've been driving this car for over 3 days now, and let me tell you, the cool seats are very good on this car. And speaking of cool seats, the AC overall, now this climate control setup is something we've seen on the last update of the Aircross, so it's not new, but it goes down to 14 degrees. I don't know a car that goes down to 14 degrees when it comes to AC temperature, and the cooling is exceptionally good. Even at lower speed 1, this car cools significantly good. So if you live in hot climates and if you are bothered by the heat, you want strong AC performance, this will do very, very good. Then of course you have the touchscreen. Now it's not the best in terms of response, it is not the crispest, but resolution is good. You get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and of course there is the Cara AI inbuilt as well, so you can have conversations with it. You can ask mundane tasks, you can ask it to check for the weather, you can ask where the next fuel station is, and it is very quick as well. Also, it supports 57 languages, regional languages, so no matter what you speak, it will understand and give you the feedback quite fast. Then you have the fully digital instrument cluster, which is a bit complicated to use because these toggle buttons, they take some time to get used to. But once you get the hang of it, you have all the information you would need right in there. Adding to the equipment list, you also have a wireless charger right here, and you have a USB-A port. Now strangely, there is no Type-C port up front. You do get it at the rear, but up front you only have a USB-A and a 12-volt socket. In these times where everything is connected by Type-C ports, I think a Type-C port up front would have been a good addition, but that's not the case. You have cup holders up front, you have a bit of a cubby hole for loose items or your keys right in the center, manual handbrake, and you have this driver armrest as well that can be moved forward and backward, so that is a really nice touch. And overall the seat comfort is nice and high, so even at its lowest setting, which this is right now, you have a good commanding view of the road. It has seat adjust, manual adjust, but that's okay because at least you get some form of adjustment, and the materials overall are very, very good. And that was the key point of this car, is to make it a bit more appealing compared to the older version. In a segment where that is highly competitive, you've got the Creta, the Seltos, the Grand Vitara. This has to stand out, and with this interior, it definitely can play with the big boys. However, what it does miss is a sunroof. So if you are someone who really appreciates the view out from the roof, then you're gonna miss out. Some more features include an auto-dimming rear-view mirror, ambient lighting, and cruise control with a speed limiter. Now in the back seat, compared to the Aircross previously, there is no big change. Space is not an issue. You have a decent amount of knee room. Headroom is not a problem either. But of course, this new leather upholstery does open up the cabin that much more and elevates it slightly. What I would have liked is a bit more soft touch on the door pads on the rear, because compared to the front, these look a bit too plain and plasticky. So just that extra bit would have been really nice. In terms of amenities, you get a center console which has your AC vents for the rear passengers. You'd imagine these top ones are for you. You can use them, but they are primarily there for the third row, which this car also has. You also get two Type-C ports, which is a great relief, unlike the front, which only gets a USB-A, so you can charge your devices. And 3 abreast would be a squeeze here because it's not as wide as some of its rivals. 2 here would be comfortable, but they'll only be reasonably comfortable because you can't really do much with the rear seat. The backrest angle is a bit upright. You can't really recline it, which is a shame because you can actually remove the third row altogether. So a bit more recline would have aided you to sit more comfortably. You also can't adjust the seat base, so if you want a bit more space for the third row, that's not going to be possible. It's a fixed seat. But overall, it's not too bad for short runs. For cities, it's really okay. So the highlight on the Aircross is that it has an extra third row. Now that makes it a 7-seater, but it's not a full-size 7-seater. It's more a 5+2, which means you have 2 seats in the back for kids. Now access, as you can see, is very easy. One tug on the strap and the seat flip folds. But this seat is not for grown adults. As you can see, space is not really great. Knee room is terrible. Headroom is not adequate either. But this is for if you're over 6 feet. Shorter adults won't be this uncomfortable, and kids will definitely be more than fine here. You've got 2 Type-C ports. You've got a cup holder as well. And you've got the blowers that are there in the center. So for short drives, I don't think this is going to be a problem. I think even shorter adults would be okay within the city. If you don't want to take an extra car, then this is a good option. But what's even better is that if you don't really have the need for these, you can just take them out and use it as a nice big boot space. Now boot space with the third row up is not going to be great. It's only about 33 liters. But of course, if you want more space, you can always just flip these seats down. And I think that's what most people are going to do. But if you want even more space, what you can do is take the whole seat out. And it's quite easy. Just one tug on this panel. And that's it. You have a lot more room. That's 511 liters with both of the seats out. To put them back in, pretty easy. Just slide it back. And there you go. Now, powering the Aircross X are the same 2 engine options as before. A 1.2 litre 3-cylinder naturally aspirated engine making 82 horsepower, and a 1.2 litre 3-cylinder turbo petrol engine making 110 horsepower. Gearbox options include a 5-speed manual for the lower engine and a 6-speed manual with a 6-speed automatic on the top end versions. The automatic only there on the max versions, which is the 7-seat. That is the Citroen Aircross X. Prices start at 8.29 lakh rupees and go up to 13.49 lakh rupees for this top spec versions. It's a lot of car for the money, and especially given the segment, it does offer some unique bits. But of course, we'd love to know your thoughts on the design, on the features, and what do you think makes it stand out in the current crop of mid-size SUVs. Do let us know down in the comments, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Autocar India channel and hit that bell icon as well.